Eden and Echo Chapter 2 The Deal. Gigi's ride was an export model of the Dobian Fledermaus stealth transport helicopter that had been converted to civilian use. It had a single rotor up top with 4 blades and a duct tail fan. The cockpit was fully enclosed, coffin style, with no visible windows. The pilot's wetware allowed him to interface directly with the aircraft through his chair, so there was no need for physical controls. It was all electric and completely computerized anyway. Anything bad enough to disrupt the main link wouldn't be helped by a vestigial thing like a manual cyclic pitch control. How she had gotten a hold of current generation military aircraft was a mystery, but her reasoning was strangely practical. It's a stealth helicopter, that means it's quiet. Add a little extra sound dampening inside, and it's about as loud as a normal car. Plus, it just looks cool. Does your company have a shooting range? I asked, half joking but genuinely curious. After all, they had at least one helicopter. Of course. Gigi said dramatically with a wave of her hand as the side door opened, and a set of steps unfolded. I couldn't let Simon one-up me. He does have a spaceship. I reminded her as I strapped in, and the door closed behind us. It was dark for a few seconds before the visual overlay kicked on, and the walls seemed to fade away. I still hadn't gotten used to the feeling of hanging suspended in space that it gave me. I looked out over the courtyard. It was all the same as ever. Our home was on a hill outside town surrounded by gardens. Technically it was more of a villa, but I tried not to think about that. Originally it had belonged to Aunt Nymeria, but Simon bought her out when she left. We will be lifting off shortly, said a disembodied male voice in Dansk. Her driver was a massive Hun named Jigget that she had picked up in Coven. The Dansk were some of the largest but also gentlest people on Homeworld, and Jigget was no exception. The tan and white Hun continued his announcements in a pleasing baritone from his place in the cockpit. Estimated travel time to King Aerospace is 20 minutes. The weather is nice and mild, so it should be a smooth trip. Gigi looked at me as the helicopter began to ascend. He has a spaceship, but does he have a Jigget? No. I conceded. He does not. Aha! Gigi shouted triumphantly with a smile. So I am once again claiming victory in our little pissing contest. I decided to twist her tail a bit. He does have Andre, I said, turning my palms up and miming a pair of scales teetering back and forth. And Andre is quite large. He is giant, yes. But can he fly like Jigget? Gigi asked. Probably, I said with a shrug. I haven't found anything he can't do. Andre was my father's personal bodyguard. Standing at nearly 2 meters tall, the imposing Dobian from Rottweil was also almost comically muscular. His arms were thicker than my torso, and once when someone parked in Simon's spot, I watched him get out of the car and politely, but firmly, shove the offending vehicle out of the way. I could take him, Jigget said confidently over the speaker. I looked at Gigi and raised an eyebrow. She seemed to think about it. Jigget has better wetware, but Andre is significantly larger. It certainly would be interesting to see. Something clicked in my head and I was curious. Jigget, do you think you could beat Simon in a fight? He laughed. Eden, even if I was starving, I would not tangle with your father for the last scrap of meat on a desert island. I've seen how he moves and I want nothing to do with it. I considered this new information. I had never thought of Simon as particularly imposing or threatening. He was confident and moved well, but that didn't make him dangerous, did it? How much did I really know about his past, and what was he like before I came along? Gigi noticed the look on my face and shrugged. Hey Jigget, she called out. Would you fight me? I wouldn't mess with you for all the gold in Katzenland, he replied. As you can see, Jigget is not only an amazing pilot, but he's smart too. Gigi put her palms up and mimed the scales tipping in her favor. I clearly am the winner. Why are you telling me this? I asked, beginning to lose my patience. What's the point? Gigi asked innocently. Your cadence of speech has changed since we got in the helicopter. Before today you've never brought up the subject of wetware, or shown any particular skill or interest in combat. You also used the term pissing contest, which is out of character. Something is up. I explained, laying the evidence out for her. This all seems like a performance and I want to know why. Perhaps you wouldn't be totally wasted as a police officer after all. Gigi mused, half annoyed and half proud. I suppose you could say that I'm testing you. You want to be a cop and I know that I can't stop you from going through with it. So I'm getting a feeling for your strengths and weaknesses. I graduated top of my class in the academy. I'm more than qualified to do the job. I shot back, injured that Gigi was still treating me like a child even though I was over 20 years old. Most of the Hun recruits were half my age and nobody was giving them shit for it. But are you as good as you could possibly be? Gigi asked with a half smile that was clearly a challenge. You're good enough, but are you great? Yes. I said confidently. I had aced every physical and written exam the police academy threw at me. The instructors and fellow students had made it hard on me, because they didn't want a human joining the force, but I had shown them. There was no way I was going to let some fashion designer who had never worn a badge tell me I wasn't one of the best. Well then, if you are so confident in your skills, why don't you prove it on the shooting range? If you win, I'll back off. But if I win, I want 100 push-ups. Right when I ask for them, no complaining. Deal, I replied, eager to make my aunt eat her words. Gigi didn't know that I had come in second in the academy shooting competition. This was going to be fun. If you love this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next twist.